Oh, this is the hot seat.
You'll find out.
Okay. Well, I finally got up the nerve to come up here and ask my question. First, I want to say thank you so much. I was introduced to Abraham less than a year ago from two very inspirational people in my life. They happen to be sitting over there.
She's been in a lot of trouble, hasn't she?
I have two questions. My first question is that I had my life planned. Everything was going along just fine. Graduated from college, have a great career, traveled, married, bought a home, had a baby. And at 11:35, 2 years ago, on Christmas Eve, we received a phone call where my husband and I were now required to take care of his 9-year-old child at the time. Being a first-time mom, my child was 4 months. And we were also getting married that April. So it was a very busy time. Since then, I've come to the resolve that she is a blessing in my life. The time that I did not have with my daughter, but I'm raising 2 daughters now, so I was resentful at first for a long time. She comes along with some other issues, but not too big that we can't work them out.
By the time you're 9, your issues are only about this much. When you're born, you have none. By the time you're 9, 10, 11, 12, we're talking about that gap again, aren't we?
Yes. So I'm working very hard, and I'm thankful that I was introduced to Abraham to help her close her gap or not have her gap be so wide because of her history with her mom. But I do find myself at times becoming resentful and angry because of the time and the money and the energy and all the extra expectations that people have put on me with regards to raising, I won't say someone else's child because she is my child also, but raising a little girl that I have no clue what I'm doing. I'm learning with my daughter, who's 2 now, but I have no idea what to do with an 11-year-old.
So you said your life was planned out and then something was dropped in the middle of it, and your question is?
How do I deal with that and still go with the flow? I don't know if I want that flow. I have to tell myself every day it's okay, it's going to be fine, everything will work out, but then something happens and I feel like I don't want to go with that flow.
Well, it's interesting as we listen to you, and of course everyone can relate to what you're saying to some degree, because parenting is not the easiest thing in the world to do. There is always this generation gap that people talk about, but we want to explain to you that it's far more than a generation gap. There is a true vibrational gap between those who are being born now and those who were born at the time you were born, or even those who were born 11 years ago, because each generation, and generation is too far sweeping of a word, but each time new energies come forth from non-physical, they come into what feels like your present time from a different vantage point. It's interesting to watch. The generation gap is the best word that humans use to describe it. So it falls back into what we were talking about earlier about a child at another gathering asking, why are grown-ups so grumpy? Because the children who are coming forth are coming from that pure place of expectation. And that translates into adults that are watching them, that they are just more selfish. They are more self-centered. They expect more things to go their way. Where the longer you live, the more those around you teach you that you are not the center of the universe, while Abraham wants you to remember that you are. That everything's not supposed to go your way, while Abraham is wanting you to remember that everything is supposed to go your way. So what happens, really, whether you are raising someone else's child or whether you are raising your own child, whether you are dealing with people that you want to love or whether you are dealing with strangers, one thing that is really helpful to accept right away is that everyone has their own perspective and it cannot be otherwise. And every single person, no matter who they are, has a perspective that comes from a selfish point of view. And what that means is that you can only see through the eyes of self, and you innately want things to go well for self. And the thing that we're talking about all day, every day, is that you can feel the feeling of self. You can feel it in your belly. You feel it through your emotional center. The feeling of self is that combined energies of what I'm looking at here right now through my physical eyes and how I really feel as a broader perspective. And the combining of those two energies is literally what equals your mood or your attitude. Very often you say, this is not my child. And we say, children do not pick their parents necessarily to be born to. Some of those who are vibrational matches to you, at the very core of that which you are, you meet later in life. In other words, there are a lot of things that you don't know about this coming together, that if you will allow yourself to go with the flow of that, you will find downstream culminations. So here's this little girl. She's been living in less than perfect situations. We've been talking about that already here today. And she's been launching rockets of desire, and she's been contributing to a vibrational escrow. And you've been living life even before you met this man, even long before you knew this little girl, even before you gave birth to your own child, even before your life was all planned out in the way that you think it is from the physical format. You've been launching rockets of desires, and you've created a vibrational escrow too. And the man that you're with has been creating a vibrational escrow too. And don't you find it interesting that down there in all of your vibrational escrows is this common thing that when you move toward it, you rendezvoused for this masterful co-creating experience, you see. Yeah. So what you say to yourself is sort of like, I am going to do this. And the choice is not really whether I'm going to do it or not. The choice is, am I going to resent doing it, or am I going to appreciate doing it? And that is the choice of, am I going to align with Source while I do it, or am I going to rip myself apart from Source while I do it? Nobody in the world can ask the conditions around them to be so perfect that when you just look at the conditions, you feel good. Those are not the creative choices that you came to make. As a creator, you said, I'll come into the environment and I will mold the energy of my environment through my perspective, through the thoughts that I choose to think. So, you said something really important, and we could feel how easily the words flowed from you. They were carefully chosen words, but they were inspired words when you said, I understand the blessing that this child is. And we know that at times you understand the blessing, and sometimes you call it a curse. In other words, it feels like a blessing when you're looking downstream. It feels like something far from a blessing when you're looking upstream. But the thing that the two of you said that you would help each other to remember is this thing that we talk about a lot, which is unconditional love, which is, I'm going to find my connection with Source regardless of the condition that I'm looking at. In other words, I can look at this in a way that tears me apart from who I am, or I can look at this in a way that calls me to dovetail with who I am. And this child is a catalyst that will help you know the difference between whether you're in alignment with Source or whether you're not. When you get it, that it is not this child's job to be perfect in your life, to stay out of your life or to come into your life. In other words, this child does not have enough power, no matter how powerful this child is, to control the way you feel. This is just a child here to co-create with you, to give you the opportunity of going with the flow or not, but don't lay it on the child if you choose upstream. And as you increasingly are able to choose the thoughts that help you to go with the flow, that blessing that you've been describing will become bigger and bigger and bigger, to the point that the two of you will one day announce to each other, we had each other in our sights before either one of us was born into physical bodies.
Thank you.
And so life is just sort of the stream having its way, and then you fighting it, and then the stream having its way, and then you fight it, and then the stream having its way, and then you fight it. And we say, stop fighting the well-being that is your legacy. In other words, this little girl somehow relaxed and knew that life would take care of her because it's supposed to go that way. And in fact, we'll say that to you. You're supposed to love me, is what she wants you to understand. Everything always turns out all right for me. And that's the way we want you all to feel. Everything always turns out all right for you, even if you have to die to win your reward. But you don't have to. Just stop bucking the current. All illness is from bucking the current. All confusion is from bucking the current. Everything that doesn't feel good to you is from an upstream perspective. Every single thing. Did we help you? And is there something more you want?
No, you've helped me tremendously. Thank you so much. Thank you.
That idea is so central to your life experience that we've written a book. And the book is called Ask and It Is Given. And the reason that the book is called Ask and It Is Given is because when you ask, it is given. When you ask, not only is it given, but when you ask, the non-physical part of you literally becomes the vibrational essence of that which you are asking for. You are source energy in physical bodies, and you have come into this leading edge experience with the intention of letting the variety that surrounds you cause you to focus into something further. The expansion of the universe and the evolution of all that you know is about that. So it is so well known from your non-physical perspective that when you have an experience that causes you to ask for something more, that the non-physical part of you becomes it, that you came into this experience understanding that anything that this time-space reality could inspire you to desire, this time-space reality has the wherewithal to provide for you. But somewhere between that knowledge that you held as you made the decision to come forth into this body and where most humans stand now, there is a gap in that understanding, because most of you have come to know or come to expect or come to believe that when you want something, that it is not necessarily going to manifest in your experience right now, this red hot minute. And we want to say to you, that's true because you live in this buffer of time. But when you ask, it is given every single time. And the expanse of time between the time that you're asking for it and the time that you're actually receiving it is all up to you. And it has to do with how quickly you align your vibrational frequencies to that of your desire. Everything that is in this reality is a translation of vibration, and the gap between the manifestation and where you stand is so much slighter than any of you are now understanding. It's just a thought away. But what's happening to so many of you that keeps you from letting it into your experience rapidly, so you believe that creation is long and slow in coming, is that life causes you to give birth to a myriad of new ideas, which the source energy part of you immediately becomes. But then instead of you going with that positive flow and talking about why you want it and how nice it will be when you get it, instead, most beat the drum of why they need it. I want more money because I don't have enough money. And it is so irritating to me that I don't have enough money, and I've never had enough money. In fact, most of those that I know don't have enough money. And it's wrong, you say, that the government takes so much of our money. And they spend it in unwise ways. They squander it and waste it, and it doesn't go where it needs to go. And I'm very tired of that, you say. And then you say, I want more money, but I do not think that there's any way that more money can come to me because I'm already working as many hours a day as I can. And anyway, shouldn't I have a personal life of some kind? And I don't think that I should have to put so much of my energy into earning money. I think money should come to me more easily. And look at that young person driving that beautiful car. His father probably bought that for him. He's probably dealing drugs. And so as you beat the drum of not having enough of something that you are wanting, you hold yourself in vibrational discord with the abundance or with whatever it is that you are asking for that is lined up outside your door. In other words, there is a vibrational gap. Now, your life caused you to give birth to something that the larger part of you became one with, but you've got to catch up with it vibrationally, or it cannot be yours in manifestational form. You will only be joyful when you are vibrationally up to speed with who you are. In other words, you cannot have been in this physical body as an extension of source energy and have had this life experience cause you to expand yet further, and the non-physical part of you take to that expansion and become it. And you can't stand in vibrational discord to that and be happy. You must stay up to speed with who you are becoming. It's just that simple. You will not feel fulfilled unless you do.